So good morning to all of you. So now we are going to wind up the chapter which we were discussing before. We were discussing human settlements and it's almost over, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to recap the things, okay. I'm going to recap the things which we have discussed in the chapter. Some of the important points I'll be recapping for you guys so that you will be getting a clear-cut idea of that thing. The same way I'll be sending you notes of this particular chapter. You will be receiving it in your parent app. No need to write the notes in your notebooks, okay. I will tell you what you have to write in your notebooks, okay. So for now we will be discussing the important points from this chapter which are important, okay. So guys, as we know, our chapter was human settlements and we have discussed two different types of settlements, right? One is rural settlements and another is urban settlements, and we have distinguished between them and all, right? So now we will be, and also we have discussed how we categorize urban population, right? Urban population based on various aspects, right? So we will be just clearing all those things now, right? So I just want you guys to just listen carefully, okay? I'll be giving you this notes, okay? So no need to write it down and all. We just look onto this, okay? So human settlements means, as we know, it's a cluster of dwellings of any type, size where human beings reside, right? That's what is a human settlement, okay? Then settlements vary in size and also their type, okay? And they range from a hamlet as well as to metropolitan city, and we know what now is a metropolitan city, right? Settlements could be small, sparsely spaced. They may also be large and closely spaced, okay? The sparsely located settlements are called villages, okay? The settlements which are sparsely located, they are called villages, specializing in primary activities, like agriculture, farming and all, right? So rural settlements, mainly villages are mainly concentrated in primary activities, okay? And the same way larger settlements are termed as urban settlements, and they are specializing in different types of secondary activities and also tertiary activities, okay? Secondary activities that include manufacturing of goods, the raw materials which are being produced in villages are then brought to the cities, and they are processed and new goods are being produced. In the same way, tertiary is like it's service sector, you know, it's service sector. So these types of activities happens in urban settlements, okay. Cities act as nodes of economic growth, provide goods and services not only to the urban people but also to that of the rural area also. Cities are the nodes, okay. Then rural and urban settlement differ in terms of their social relationship, attitude and outlook, okay. Rural people are mainly, they are very less mobile and their social relations among them are intimate, you know. Rural areas, people have intimate relations with each other. And in urban areas, as we all know, it's fast life, everything is fast, so people are not that much intimate. Most of them are having a formal social relations, and the life is also very much complex when we just compare it with that of rural people, okay. Now we'll go on to types of rural settlement, right? So types of rural settlements are means determined by the extent of built up area and the house distance, you know, that's the thing. And there are various factors and conditions which determine different types of rural settlements in India. So we'll just see to it. The first one is physical features. What are the physical features that determine this location stuff? That is nature of terrain. What type of terrain is that? Whether it's a plain, whether it's a hilly region or whatever. That's about nature of terrain, okay. Altitude is height. Most people are not willing to make their houses in hills and mountains, right? So that's about altitude. Then climate and availability of water. What about the climate? The extremeness of the climate. Some places there is hot weather, some place it's cold weather. So people just want a balance between cold and hot. So they want to settle on a particular place where the climate is not that much of extreme. The same way, availability of water. Availability of water is one of the important criteria which is taken into account while a person is going to settle in a particular place. So availability of water is the another reason. Then there are cultural and ethnic factors also. They are like social structure, caste and religion. Okay. social structure, caste and religion are very important aspects. As we have completed this chapter, we know that many of the towns, many of the places are even named after a particular religion and the culture which they have been following. Okay. Then about security factors. Yeah, defense against thefts and robberies. Yeah, the people are very much concerned about the security of their family. So they also want to. They always select a particular place where they have the security to their life. Okay. Now I will be discussing about 4 different types of rural settlements. So Indian settlements are divided into 4 different types. What are they? First one is clustered, agglomerated or nucleated. Okay, this is the first type. So the clustered rural settlement is a compact or closely built up area of houses. In this type of village, the general living area is distinct and from surrounding farms. So they are making their houses just somewhat, so they are making their settlements around the farms and the pastures in which they grow their crops. And these areas are actually having some type of shapes, like geometric shapes. Sometimes they can be rectangular, they can be linear, or they can be radial. So the shape, geometric shape, they are sometimes based on different geometric shapes. So they can be rectangular, radial and linear. Okay, and these are mainly considered along the fertile alluvial plains. You have fertile alluvial plains in the northeastern states. Okay, northeastern states. Okay, so people also, and in some places people choose the factor of security, and also some places due to scarcity of water, like in Rajasthan. People are concentrated along a particular place because the availability of water is more in this region. And in Nagaland and also in Bundelkhand region, it's because of the security or that defense purpose they are just settled over there. The second type of rural settlement which you see in India is semi-clustered and fragmented. And talking about this, in this land-owning dominant community occupies the central part of the main village. The central part of the main village is occupied by the dominant community. Okay, dominant community, but mainly they can be landlords, or if in the case of India, we can just consider them as the high-class people, maybe because of that. And the people who are in the lower strata of people, like menial worker and all, they settle out of the flanks of the village. So they are somewhat away from the center part or the core part of the village. So such settlements are widespread in Gujarat plain and some parts of Rajasthan. As we have discussed, the agglomerated or the clustered and the nucleated settlements are mainly located in the northeastern parts where we find alluvial soil, like it's alluvial soil or fertile soil. Okay, so that's the difference. And we will be going to hamleted settlement. These settlements are locally called. The name of hamleted settlements are different in different places. Some places it's called Panna, some place it's Para, then it's Palli, then it's Nagla, then Dhani. Okay, so this segmentation of large villages is often motivated by social and ethnic factors. So hamleted settlements are mainly seen in the area where we find our social and ethnic importance is given much important rather than all other factors. Such villages are more frequently found in the middle and lower Ganga plain, Chhattisgarh and lower valleys of Himalayas. Okay, these hamleted settlements are seen mainly in middle and lower Ganga plain and Chhattisgarh, and also in the low valley of Himalayas. The fourth one which we have discussed is dispersed or isolated settlements. So in India, it appears it form isolated huts or hamlets of a few huts in remote jungles or small hills with farms pastured on the slopes. So dispersed or isolated settlements are mainly concentrated along the hill slopes. Okay, in the hill slopes or the hilly regions. Okay, the extreme dispersion settlements often caused by extremely fragmented nature of terrain and land resources based habitable areas, because in those regions the habitable area is much low, means very less when we compare with some other region, because it's an hilly region. So the people are getting very less area, which is a good terrain for making a particular or getting settled down. Okay, so main areas are Meghalaya, Uttaranchal, Himachal Pradesh, Kerala. Okay, these are some of the states where we can see this type of settlements, mainly in hilly regions. Okay, now we are going to move on to the next important thing, which is urban settlements. We have discussed rural settlements. Now we will be moving on to that of urban settlements. Okay, so urban settlements are generally compact. They are very much compact and are larger in size when compared with rural settlements. They are engaged in variety of non-agricultural, economic and administrative functions. So they are mainly concentrating in non-agricultural activities, like we have discussed before, that is secondary and tertiary activities. Okay, so cities are functionally linked to rural areas around them, but they are linked with rural areas for many purposes, for getting the raw materials, and the rural areas are mainly depending upon these urban regions for getting that processed items or that goods. Okay, different types of materials and all, they are depending upon cities. Cities are connected directly as well as indirectly with villages and also with each other. So cities are connected with each other, they are also connected with the villages. Okay, so now we'll be moving on to evolution of towns in India. Evolution of towns in India, we have divided it into various groups. Okay, based on various criteria, we have divided our towns, right? We have grouped our towns. So the first one which we are going to discuss now is the classification based on different time periods. Classification based on different time periods. Okay, so first one is ancient towns. So what are ancient towns? Most of these towns developed as religious and cultural centers. For example, Varanasi. Varanasi is an example for a religious center. Okay, and it's Prayag, which is known as Allahabad, Patliputra, that is Patna, Madurai, are examples of ancient towns in the country. And I think most familiar thing for you will be Madurai itself, because I think most of you must have visited Madurai, because it's very nearby, and you have visited Madurai Meenakshi temple. So that town was there in ancient time itself. The second type of town based on time period is medieval towns. So what are medieval towns? They were the headquarters of principalities and kingdoms. So they were the headquarters of various kings. Okay, various kingdoms, and their main headquarters were these medieval towns. So some of the examples are Delhi, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Lucknow, Agra, Nagpur. Okay, these are some of the examples of medieval towns. The next type of towns are modern towns. They are modern towns. So with the name itself, we can understand that these modern towns must have been brought up by the Britishers, because all industrialization, or what to say, I'm not saying that before there was no development or anything like that. There was development, but still Britishers came to India, and they have colonized us, and they have they have exploited our resources. They have done many bad things in India, which the negative effects of those things are even prevailing now. Yeah, there are many bad effects of British rule. We have to accept that. But with that thing, there is another part also. The another part is like most of the development criteria, most of the development things started in India by the Britishers. Okay, many of the things, even that postal stuff, then trains and all, were just brought away by the Britishers. In the same way, they brought all these things for their convenience, but still it's because of them. Because before, when India was ruled by kings and all, there was dictatorship. Even after Britishers colonized India, that time also there was dictatorship, but still there was somewhat like a different situation rather than that of a kingdom or an empire. Okay, so modern towns itself are mainly built by the Britishers. Okay, so the British and other Europeans have developed number of towns in India. So Britishers have developed many. I'm just saying Britishers because they were in India. They were in India rather than they were in India for most of the time rather than other countries like Portuguese, Dutch, They were very, they were for only for some time only they were in India. After that they just left India. So that's why I'm just saying about British, mainly Europeans. Okay. So they first developed some trading ports such as Surat, Dammam, Goa and Pondicherry, because all these people from European countries came to India for making trade with India. After that only what did they do? They just colonized us, or they just captured many places of India and they just made them theirs. Okay. So the British later consolidated their hold around 3 municipal nodes, that is Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata. So these are the 3 principal nodes because they all are the most important parts. Even now they are the most important part because they are in the three centers, right? One is in the west, another is in the east, then the next one is in the south. So they have that 3 nodes, that's why. And built them in the British style, and they have built these towns in British style. They established their administrative centers, hill towns as summer resorts, and added new civil, administrative and military areas around them. So after doing this, they made many hill towns. I have explained you why they took hill towns, like they made hill stations actually. And the main reason behind the hill station was that they were not able to withstand the climate, that hot climate which was in India. So they just wanted to be in a particular place where they can just make that atmosphere of their own country. So they can just rebuild that atmosphere which is prevailing in their country. That was the main reason. In the same way, it was the strategic place for their troops. Okay, hill towns. And they also made many administrative and military areas around. Okay. The town based on modern industries also developed in 1815. Jamshedpur, as I have told, Jamshedpur is even now is one of the important industrial centers in India. Okay, that is Jamshedpur, which was formed after 1815, during 1850s. So after independence, a large number of towns have been developed as administrative headquarters. So after 1947, 1947 when we got independence, which is written in paper. So after getting that independence, many administrative headquarters were developed by India. So some of the headquarters are Chandigarh, it's in Haryana, Bhubaneswar, Orissa, Gandhinagar is in Gujarat, Dispur, that is in Assam, These are some of the administrative headquarters and industrial centers as well as. So in the same way, there were some industrial centers like Durgapur, Bhilai, Sindri, Barauni, these are some of the industrial centers. And the same way, some old towns also developed as satellite towns, Some satellite towns were also developed during this period, and I have given you what are satellite towns also, because this is not in your textbook. So satellite towns are smaller municipalities that are adjacent to a major city, which is the core of a metropolitan area. Okay, so that is what is satellite town. They could be self-sufficient communities outside of their larger metropolitan area. So satellite towns are actually it can be a small municipality which is just adjacent to a major city, which is actually self-sufficient and self-dependent. Okay, they don't depend upon any of nearby region for anything. Okay, so that is satellite towns, and they could be self-sufficient communities outside of their larger metropolitan area. So some old towns also developed as satellite towns around metropolitan cities such as Ghaziabad, Rohtak, Gurgaon. Ghaziabad and Rohtak is in Haryana, Gurgaon and Delhi. Okay, so this also happened. These are coming under modern towns, and these towns are even now. These towns are there. These towns are important. Okay, strategically important towns in India. Now we are moving on to our next topic, that is urbanization in India. So the level of urbanization is measured in terms of percentage of urban population to total population. So how is urbanization measured? So urbanization is measured in terms of percentage of urban population to total population. So this is the way urbanization is measured. And the urbanization in India 2011 was 31.16. It was 37.16. Okay. Now, as we have classified our towns, on the basis of time period, here we are classifying our towns on the basis of population size. Okay, on the basis of population size. Okay, this is important. Okay, so Census of India classifies urban centers into 6 classes. Okay, it divides the centers into 6 classes. Okay, so we'll be discussing that. Many with 6 classes, the important things which we have to look on to here is only the 3. Okay, that is class 1 towns, then metropolitan cities and mega cities. These are the 3 one. Okay, this is what we are concentrating on. Okay, so the urban center with population more than 1 lakh is called city or class 1 town. So the urban centers with population more than 1 lakh is called a class 1 town or city. So cities accommodating population size between 1 to 5 million are called metropolitan cities. So what are metropolitan cities? Metropolitan cities are those cities where the population is between 1 to 5 million. That is an urban center. There should be an urban center which is accommodating a population of 1 to 5 million. They are called metropolitan cities. Then cities more than 5 million are mega cities. So what are mega cities? Mega cities are those cities that have a population of more than 5 million. The majority of metropolitan and mega cities are also urban agglomeration. So majority of metropolitan cities or mega cities are urban agglomeration. What is urban agglomeration? An urban agglomeration is a continuous urban spread consisting a town and its adjoining outgrowths. Okay, so an urban agglomeration is continuous urban spread consisting a town and its adjoining outgrowths. Okay, or 2 or more physically contiguous towns together with or without outgrowths. Okay, so this is what an urban agglomeration means. An urban agglomeration is a continuous urban spread consisting a town and its adjoining outgrowths. That is called urban agglomeration. Okay. Then a suburb is a residential area of the outskirts of a city. So a suburb is a residential area on the outskirts of a city. Suburban areas have lower population density than inner city neighborhoods. So suburbs have less population when compared with the neighbor cities. Okay. So there are 3 combinations in urban agglomeration. So we will be discussing that. The 3 combinations which are seen in a urban agglomeration are a town and its adjoining urban outgrowths, then 2 or more contiguous towns with or without their outgrowths. Third one is a city and 1 or more adjoining towns with their outgrowths together forming contiguous spread. So these are the 3 combinations of urban agglomeration. A town and its adjoining urban outgrowths, 2 or more contiguous towns with or without their outgrowths, a city and 1 or more adjoining towns with their outgrowths together forming a contiguous spread. Okay. Now examples of outgrowth are railway colonies. So what are urban outgrowths? Example, they can be a railway colonies, university campus, port area, military cantonment, etc. So these are the examples of urban outgrowths. Okay, located within the revenue limits of a village or villages contiguous to the town or city. It can be located within the revenue limits of a particular village or to the villages which are contiguous to the town or city. Contiguous means that the meaning of contiguous is that sharing a similar single border or a same borders. Okay, so in India, more than 60%, right? More than 60% of urban population lives in class 1 towns. 60% of total urban population lives in class 1 town, and out of 468 cities, there are 468 cities in which 53 cities are metropolitan cities. So out of 468 cities, 53 cities are metropolitan cities, and in 6 of them are mega cities. So in this 53, 6 of them are mega cities. 6 of them are mega cities, okay, which have population, as we know that, over 5 million. Okay, that is 21%. So 21% of total urban populations are residing in mega cities. Okay, so among them, Greater Mumbai is the largest agglomeration with 18.4 million people. So which is the largest agglomeration, that is Greater Mumbai, that is having 18.4 million people. Then other mega cities are Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So other mega cities are Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Okay, these are the 6 mega cities. Okay. Now we are moving on to our next heading, that is functional classification of towns. Now we are going to divide our towns on the basis of functions which they perform. So the first category is administrative towns. So with name itself, you know that it's part of administration stuff, right? Towns supporting administrative headquarters of higher order are administrative towns like Chandigarh, New Delhi, Bhopal, Shillong. Okay, so these are some of the administrative towns: Guwahati, Imphal, Srinagar, Gandhinagar, Jaipur, Chennai, and you can see that these are also capitals. Okay, capitals of various states. Then the next classification is industrial towns. So the industries constitute prime motive force of these cities, such as Mumbai, Salem, Coimbatore, Modinagar, Jamshedpur, Hooghly, Bhilai. So these are some of the important industrial towns in India. Okay, these are the industrial towns in India. The third one is transport cities. So transport cities are primarily engaged in export and import activities. So first one, we can take some of the ports like Kandla, that is in Gujarat, Kochi, Kozhikode, Visakhapatnam. You know, they are the hubs, main hubs. In the same way, hubs of transport such as Agra, that is inland transport is there. Okay, inland transport. Inland transports such as Agra, Dhulia, Mughal, Sarai, Itarsi, Katni, etc. So these are some of the inland transport system. Okay. Now, what are commercial towns? They are mainly specializing in trade and commerce. So commercial towns specialize in trade and commerce, okay, such as Kolkata, Saharanpur, Satna, etc. Okay. The next one is mining towns. So mining towns are mainly mineral rich areas. They are mainly mineral rich areas such as Raniganj, Jharia, Digboy, Ankaleshwar, Singrauli, etc. The sixth one is garrison. Okay, garrison cantonment towns. These towns emerge as garrison towns such as Ambala, you know, military troops or military hubs. Ambala, Jalandhar, Mo, Babina, Udhampur. Udhampur is in Jammu and Kashmir. Babina is in UP. Mo is in Madhya Pradesh. Jalandhar is in Punjab. Ambala is in Haryana. Okay. Now, educational towns. You know, educational towns are mainly are mainly the important hubs of educational institutions. Okay. So, like Roorkee, Varanasi, Aligarh, Pilani, Allahabad. Allahabad is in UP. Pilani is in Rajasthan, I think, yeah. Then Aligarh Muslim University, I have told you. Varanasi and Roorkee. Roorkee is in Uttarakhand, Varanasi in UP. The next one is religious and cultural towns. What are religious and cultural towns? So, religious and cultural towns are mainly based on the religion or the culture basis, like we have discussed before itself, like towns like Madurai and all we have discussed. So, these are religious and cultural towns like Varanasi, Mathura, Amritsar, Madurai, Puri, Ajmer, Pushkar, Tirupati, Kurukshetra, Haridwar, Ujjain. You know, they came to prominence due to their religious and cultural significance. Okay. The next one is tourist towns. So it's based on the tourist areas or tourist places which are in India. So with the name itself, Nainital, Mussoorie, Shimla, Pachmarhi, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Udagamandalam, that is Ooty, Mount Abu are some of the tourist destination. Okay. So this is all about the chapter human settlements, which we have discussed, and hope you would have understood the things over here. Okay, and now I think you are clear with it.